Welcome to So Black Family, where Black creativity, culture, and courage comes to life. I want to dedicate this video to my sister and to every Black person who has ever had to endure being ignored, dismissed, experimented on, or treated as if our pain isn't real. What if I told you Black communities in America have been treated like experiments again and again by the very systems meant to heal and protect us? Now, most of us remember hearing about the Tuskegee Syphilis Study. In Tuskegee, Alabama, from 1932 to 1972, about 600 Black men, mostly poor sharecroppers, were enrolled under the promise of free health care. What they weren't told is that doctors never intended to treat them. Even after penicillin became the cure in the 1940s, the men were left untreated so the government could observe how the disease destroyed their bodies. Wives were infected, children were born with congenital syphilis, and families were shattered. All while the government watched and documented their suffering. In 1951, a young Black mother in Baltimore named Henrietta Lacks went to Johns Hopkins Hospital for treatment of cervical cancer. Without her knowledge or consent, doctors took samples of her tumor. From those cells, yes, something extraordinary happened. They didn't die. Her HeLa cells became the first immortal human cell line, and they've been used to develop vaccines, study cancer, map genes, and even advance COVID-19 research. Her cells generated billions of dollars in medical breakthroughs, but her own family lived in poverty for decades, never told what had been taken, never asked permission, never compensated. Henrietta's body gave science a gift, but the way it was taken shows exactly how Black people's lives and bodies were exploited. Now, I was actually inspired to create this video because of a TikTok by @Mercurial_Lover. In her video, she talked about something I had never heard before. That in the 1950s and 60s, the U.S. Army secretly sprayed zinc cadmium sulfide over the Pruitt Igoe housing project in St. Louis. Now, this was a massive public housing complex where thousands of Black families lived, mostly low income, and they were never told what was being sprayed above their homes. The Army claimed later that it was harmless. But no one asked the residents. No consent, no choice, just experiments falling from the sky, turning an already struggling Black community into a testing ground. Her post sent me down a rabbit hole of other so-called experiments that have been done to us. However, before getting into what's happening today, let's stay in the past for a little bit longer, because it didn't start with Pruitt Igoe. From the 1940s through the 1970s, the government funded secret radiation experiments. In some cases, poor and Black patients in public hospitals were injected with plutonium or uranium without being told. In Cincinnati, dozens of mostly Black low-income cancer patients were exposed to massive doses of whole-body radiation, again, without their knowledge. Some died as a result. Their pain reduced to government data. Then came the era of forced sterilizations, often called the Mississippi Appendectomy. Black women in the South went into hospitals for routine procedures, tonsils, appendices, and came out unable to ever have children. In North Carolina alone, more than 7,600 sterilizations were performed, and the majority were on young Black women. Native and Latino women were also targeted. Some were threatened with losing welfare if they didn't agree. This wasn't health care. It was eugenics, erasing generations before they could even be born. Now, here's where Mercurial Lover's video hit me again, because she also talked about what's happening right now in Memphis. Elon Musk company XAI installed dozens of methane-burning gas turbines, many without permits, right in South Memphis, one of the blackest neighborhoods in the city. These machines release toxic chemicals like nitrogen oxides and formaldehyde, poisoning the very air children breathe. Community groups and the NAACP are now fighting back, demanding accountability. So when people ask why black folks don't trust doctors and hospitals, this is one of the reasons. Our mistrust is not paranoia, it's protection. Back in slavery times, white doctors spread racist myths that black people had thicker skin, stronger nerves, or felt less pain. They used those lies to justify slavery, brutal whippings, and medical experiments. One of the so-called fathers of gynecology, J. Marion Sims, even performed surgeries on enslaved black women without anesthesia because he claimed they didn't feel pain like white women. And here's the scary part. It never truly went away. In 2016, a study found that half of white medical students and residents still believe at least one of these myths, like black people having thicker skin or a higher pain tolerance. And you see it in practice. Studies show black patients are less likely to receive pain medication than white patients with the exact same symptoms. This isn't just history, it's happening right now. Black women in America are 3 to 4 times more likely to die during childbirth than white women. Too many are ignored when they say something's wrong. I've seen it myself. My own sister went through surgery, told her doctor something wasn't right, cried out in pain, and was brushed off. Hours later, they finally found she had internal bleeding. 8 more hours passed before they acted. 8 hours in 2025. So no, it's not crazy that we're anxious about doctors. The system is still treating us as if our pain isn't real, as if our lives are insignificant. And until that changes, the mistrust will remain. Tuskegee, Henrietta, Pruitt, Igoe, radiation, sterilizations, Memphis, and the medical myths that still cost black lives today. Different decades, different names, but the same pattern of disregard for black people's health, our families, and our futures. This is why we don't blindly trust doctors. This is why we question the government. Because history isn't just history. It's still happening. And here's the truth. We are not lab rats. We are not experiments. We are human beings who deserve dignity, care, and justice. And every time we tell these stories, every time we pull back the curtain, we protect each other from being ignored, dismissed, or sacrificed. Our pain is real. Our voices matter. And until they treat our lives with the full respect they deserve, we will keep speaking out because silence has never protected us. We remember, we resist, and we demand better.